Hi, this is Wendy from Knitters Brewing, and I'm going to show you how to work the Burning Heart stitch pattern that's used in the Mystery Sock 11 sock pattern. So this stitch pattern is worked over 3 stitches, and we set it off by stitch markers in the pattern, and it is worked over 4 rounds. So I'm going to show you those 4 rows here because it's a little different maybe than something you've done in the past. So the first round is the most different one of all of them. I'm going to knit up to the 3-row section that I have identified. Alright, so what we're going to do is count 2 stitches over and then 3 rows below that stitch. So you can do that by enlarging it a little bit and just count the holes below it. So 1, 2, 3, and then you insert your needle through that hole, wrap it as if to knit, and pull through a long stitch. Now let it be long, and actually even give it a little extra slack. Make it so that if you hold your needle perpendicular to the other one like that, that you've got enough slack like that. That's kind of a good way to measure it. Then the next thing you do is do a yarn over, and we're going to do that the way you typically do a yarn over. We're going to come forward between the 2 needles and then over the top of the right hand needle. So now we have another loop over this right hand needle. Then we're going to go back into the same hole and do another long knit stitch and pull that through, and again make it nice and long and loose. Alright, now we have 3 long loops on the right hand needle. 2 of them came in from the front and 1 came in from the back when we did that yarn over. The next thing we're going to do is knit the 3 stitches that we had set aside in the stitch markers, between the stitch markers. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to repeat this 3-row long loop pattern that we did into that same hole again. So it's a little trickier now, but it's not that hard. And especially if you kind of pinch down here, you can, and maybe hold on to the last stitch you worked, you can get down in there. So first we do 1 long knit stitch, and again keep them long. If you need to pull it up a little bit, do it. Yarn over, and then 1 last long stitch in that same hole again. And now's your opportunity to just kind of make sure they're all roughly the same length. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. We've got 3 long loops on either side of those 3 original stitches that were in the middle. Now you just slip your marker and continue on with that round. So that is round 1. So now I'm going to come back and show you what we do on rounds 2 and 3. Now we're approaching our Burning Heart stitch pattern section again on round 2. So let's see how that looks. You're going to knit up to your stitch marker, slip the marker. Now you can see your first 3 long loops here, and what we're going to do is slip those. You can slip them together. You're going to do it purlwise, slip them together or slip them one at a time. I kind of like to slip them one at a time because then I can make sure they're kind of staying in the right order. So slip those purlwise, then knit those 3 center stitches again. Now slip the last 3 long loops and slip your marker, and then you continue with your round. So this is what row 2 looks like. And row 3 is done identically. So I'm going to go ahead and work row 3, and then I'll come back and show you the 4th row of this stitch pattern. I've worked row 3 identically to row 2, and now you can start to see in the middle here some of those knit stitches between the 2 sets of long loops. We're going to do row 4 now, And this is where we're going to take the stitch count back down to 3 between our stitch markers. So we knit up to that first, knit up to the first stitch marker and slip that. Now we're going to do a knit 4 together through the back loop, and that is going to include the 3 long stitches and the first of the 3 regular knit stitches in the middle. So you're going to insert your needle through all 4 of those, but you're going to go through the back side of all of them when you knit, and that tends to make them lay over toward the left, or lay open over toward the left. There you go. So you can see what that looks like. Now we're going to knit the middle of those 3 regular knit stitches. Now we're going to knit 4 together again, and this is going to include the 3 long loops on the left and the leftmost of those 3 center stitches. And these we're going to knit normally, and that will kind of make it lay open to the right. So that's what it looks like. And then you slip the marker and continue on. Now I'm going to go ahead and do row 1 one more time, because so you can see where to insert the needle, because now these are going to stack on top of each other. I'm going to work row 1 for a second time so you can see how these motifs stack on top each other or even interlock a little bit. They almost look like a cable when they are finished. So I've already knit over and slipped my marker, so I'm ready to do round 1 here. Now again, we're going to count 2 stitches over and 3 rows down to insert the needle. It's a little trickier now because you've got these long loops on either side, but all you need to do is sort of separate them a little bit and stick your finger in behind them, and you can kind of pop up those center stitches, and then it makes it a lot easier to count. So now I can count 1, 2, 3 rows below and insert my needle and pull that stitch up. And once you've got the first one done, then it's easy to see where to insert the remaining long loops. So then I do my yarn over and insert again. Oops, caught something there. There we go. Now I have my 3 first long loops, knit across the 3 stitches that are between the stitch marker, and then again repeat the long loop sequence, and make a little effort to keep those loops the same length as the ones on the other side. All right, there you go. So now you can sort of see how one fits into the top of the other, and they'll continue to chain like that as you work up your mystery sock.